Hi everyone, it's Kelly here. Welcome to my channel if this is your first time. Welcome back if you've been before. Lovely to have you either way. On this channel we talk books, and today I am sharing with you a book haul. I've got quite a few books to show you today. Some new, some secondhand, and I've also got some book related mail that has arrived, which I've been holding off on. So I pulled it out of the envelope, but I haven't unwrapped it yet from its internal packaging. So we're going to start with that. So I recently ordered some bookmarks from a company called Hooked on a Book. Oh, so cool. I will share the link to the Etsy store for Hooked on a Book. It's Hooked on a Book AU, so they're Australian based. But this lady makes gorgeous bookmarks, which I am struggling to get out of their plastic. Right, here we go. No? Yes, here we go. So, sometimes I've ordered bookmarks from this person before. I ordered so many, it's ridiculous. And sometimes she puts a freebie in there, so there could be a one that I didn't order in here. But so far, it's looking like they're all they're all ones that I have ordered. So, first of all, she's included a free little sticker. I don't know if you can see that. It says the book was better, which is cute. I've put one aside because it's a gift. But these ones are for me. So I got this cute one. Where's the best place to hold them? I got this little fox guy. This little flamingo guy. In my Tortured Poets era. This one's super cute. It's very cottage core. Gorgeous little bookshelf. And several very cool dragons. So, very excited to now have those. The company, as I said, is called Hooked on a Book AU.etsy.com. So, if you want to have a look for those, highly recommend. Okay, let me get the rubbish out of the way and then we can start on the books. Okay, I'm going to start today with a couple of children's books. Now, I occasionally will purchase children's books. I work in a school. I'm a teacher librarian 1 day a week as part of my roles that I do at the school where I work. And so I do from time to time pick up children's books, and I don't really talk about them here on this channel because this is more for grown-ups, this channel. But I am going to share 3 children's books that have come into my collection with you today. One, because I'm quite excited about the first one, which is this one, Lightfall, The Dark Times by Tim Probert. Now, I'm not actually going to tell you what the synopsis of this book is because it's the third in a series, and I don't want to spoil the first 2 for anybody who is planning on reading them. But essentially we follow a girl whose name is B, and she, in the first book, meets this guy who is kind of like a alien-y dude creature, I think, and he's called Cad, and adventures ensue. They're kind of saving the world, you know the drill. So this is the 3rd installment in this series. I don't know how many there are going to be, so this might be the last one, or there might be more to come. But yeah, I'm super looking forward to it. The illustration style is really cute. I'm going to try and find a non-spoilery page for you. Yeah, so I don't know if you can see that. But yeah, super cute illustration style. And yeah, I quite enjoyed the previous 2 books in the series. The next children's book that I picked up is this one called Island by David Almond. I don't know anything about this other than it's got a really beautiful cover. It was on sale, which is why I picked it up. But here's the synopsis from the back of the book. Louise has travelled with her father to the island every year since she can remember. It's the place her mother loved best of all. The arrival of Hassan changes everything. He is an acrobat, maybe a sorcerer, possibly a source of great danger. The wild boys who call the island their home want to cast him out. The forces of love, death and hope move Louise and Hassan together. The island will change their lives forever. So, yeah, this came on sale, which is why I picked it up. I don't really know too much about it, but it sounds really cute. Or not cute. It sounds like a good story. And, as I said, the cover is really beautiful. I think, because this was on my my wish list, so at some point I must have heard somebody recommending it. And I just don't remember. I don't remember who. But yeah, I always kind of check my wish list to see when things come on sale and then pick them up if they're on sale. And the third children's book that I picked up is this one, Magnolia Wu Unfolds It All by Chanel Miller. So Chanel Miller is the author of... What was the name of her book? It's one of my favourites. God, what is it called? It's probably on the back. Know My Name. So Chanel Miller is the author of Know My Name, which is her autobiography, where she talks about being the victim of sexual assault, and it is an incredibly moving autobiography. The story is so sad and distressing. But I think the thing that surprised everybody when they read this, because, you know, we were keen to read this book anyway because of the content, but just how good a writer Chanel Miller is. So when I found out that she'd put out a children's book, I was like, I've got to try this. I loved her writing. I thought it was amazing. So I'm excited to now have this one in my collection. So it says, down at the bottom of the tall buildings of New York City, Magnolia Wu sits inside her parents' laundromat. She has pinned every lost sock from the laundromat onto a bulletin board in hopes that customers will return to retrieve them, but no one seems to have noticed. In fact, barely anyone has noticed Magnolia at all. What she doesn't know is that this is about to be her most exciting summer yet. When Iris, a new friend from California, arrives, they set off across the city to solve the mystery of each missing sock, asking questions in subways and delis and plant stores and pizzerias, meeting people and uncovering the unimaginable. With each new encounter, Magnolia learns that when you're bold enough to head into the unknown, things start falling into place. God, that sounds so cute. So yeah, I'm so excited to have this in my collection and excited to get into it and see, you know, how her style translates to children's books. So super excited. Then I've got two, so these, I'm in my new book section of the video here, and I will have some more classics to share with you when we get into the secondhand section, but I've got two new classics that I picked up, both of which I have read before, so these are just new additions to add to my collection. The first one is this gorgeous edition of Pride and Prejudice. So this came out this year, this edition, and it is put out by Puffin Books. Penguin Teen, it says on the back. Oh, okay, so this is part of the Puffin in Bloom collection. So I already have some of the Puffin in Bloom collection. I bought it as a little box set, and I believe my box set has Anne of Green Gables, Heidi, A Little Princess, and Little Women. But it appears from the page here that they've added Emma, Pride and Prejudice, and Sense and Sensibility to that Puffin in Bloom collection. So now I have this one. I don't know if I'm going to buy the other two. I mean, maybe just to be a bit of a completionist, I have them all. But I love Pride and Prejudice. It's a 5-star book for me. So, and Emma and Sense and Sensibility I also really, really like. So maybe I'll get that one as well. But Emma, not so much, which I know is a bit controversial because it's some people's favourite Jane Austen book. Anyway, I'm not going to tell you the synopsis of Pride and Prejudice because I'm sure you've heard of it before. The other classic that I picked up is Animal Farm by George Orwell, and I did not own my own copy of this before, and I found this cute copy for a good price, so I decided to pick it up. Animal Farm is, I've read two George Orwell books so far. No, sorry, that's not right. 3. I read 1984 back at school. I read Animal Farm, and I read Down and Out in Paris and London. And of those 3, I would say Animal Farm is probably my favourite. Yeah, they're all good, but this one's my favourite. So anyway, now I have a copy. Excited. Okay, 3 more brand new books to tell you about before we jump into the secondhand portion of this video. The first one is this. It's called The Membranes by Ta-Wei. I am reading this book as part of my Reading Around the World book club that I'm part of, where we're reading a book from each country. Very slowly. We've been at it for years. We do one a month. And I believe this might be from Taiwan. Yes, Taiwan. So this author is Taiwanese, and this is the book that we selected for this month's challenge. Literally this month, June. So yeah, although these are the books I picked up in May. Anyway, you know why. Because I'm reading it this month. Oh, sorry, I didn't tell you anything about this book. So it says, in the late 21st century, humanity has migrated to domes at the bottom of the sea to escape devastating climate change. Momo is the most celebrated dermal care technician in all of Tea City, but after meeting her estranged mother, she begins to explore her true identity, a journey that leads to questioning the bounds of gender, memory, self, and reality. First published in Taiwan in 1995, The Membranes is a classic of queer speculative fiction in Chinese. So anyway, I don't really know much about it. This wasn't the one that I voted for, but other people obviously were excited to read it. So here it is. We're going to read it in June. I've just noticed that this book that I'm about to show you is damaged on the front cover, and I don't think it was before, so I think maybe as I was pulling the books out I must have scraped it, which is very annoying because this is otherwise a stunning book. It's called Psykhe by Kate Forsyth. It's only just come out, so this is a brand new release. I've read some Kate Forsyth before a long time ago, and I have a whole bunch of other books of hers, and I've sort of not gone off her, but I haven't been reading her books, haven't been drawn to read her books, let's just say, for a little while. But when I saw the cover of this one, I was like, okay, I have to get it. So I bought it. And the other thing too is Greek myth retellings have not really been something I've been drawn to lately either. So I actually have no idea when and if I'm ever going to get to this one, but it is so gorgeous. That was literally a cover buy. But let me tell you about it. It says, it is not wise to anger the gods or to fall in love with one. Psyche has always been different, fair as Venus, the goddess of love, and with the hard-won ability to save the lives of those of mortal blood, she is both shunned and revered. When she unwittingly provokes Venus, she and her sisters lose everything. Psyche must find a way to make amends and support her family. Befriended by an old woman, Nocturna, Psyche finds herself irresistibly drawn to her young friend, Ambrose, but neither is what they seem, for Psyche has fallen in love with a man whose face she is forbidden to see. After disobeying this injunction, she must risk everything to try to save him, even if it means travelling down to the shadowy underworld to face Proserpina, Queen of the Dead. The way to the realm of the dead is easy. A thrust of a sword, a sudden fall, a careless bite of toadstool, and a soul is sucked away. It is the return journey that is difficult. ... The story of Psyche and Eros has been told for more than 2,500 years. Kate Forsyth infuses it with new vigour as a life-affirming celebration of female strength, sexual desire, and empowerment. So it does sound good, and I always like the idea of myth retellings. Yeah, hopefully I'll get to it at some point, because otherwise this was ridiculous for me to buy a book just based on it being really pretty. This one, though, I am very, very excited about. It's called The Art of Breaking Ice by Rachael Mead. Now, I heard about this one. Who was telling me about it? It might have been it was either my dad, or it was my husband's dad, or his auntie who told me about this book. Probably his auntie, because we talk books quite a lot. And I heard about the story of this whoever it was I was talking to directed me to listen to an interview with the author about this book, talking about the story that it's based on. So It says, in 1960, when the legendary icebreaker Magadan set sail for Antarctica, it contained a secret. Hiding on board was Nell Law, wife of expedition leader Philip Law. She would make history by becoming the first Australian woman to set foot on the icy continent, but it was her art that would change everything. Though a talented artist, Nell has always been defined by her role as the explorer's wife, but in the clear expanse of the Southern Ocean, her true self is finally allowed to emerge. Despite misogyny from the all-male crew and increasing resentment from her mercurial husband, Nell's art begins to flourish. Her new friend, a gentle ornithologist, encourages her to explore, but as the ship ploughs on towards Antarctica, rumours swirl, threatening her marriage and the tenuous peace between the controlling Philip and his crew. In the clear white light of the South, Nell will be forced to confront the truth of herself and the man to whom she has dedicated her life. This stunning reimagining of Nell Law's life reveals a groundbreaking artist searching for freedom in a world where women's lives were still defined by their husbands. I am so keen for this. I'm really, really excited to have this in my collection now. Very, very excited to read this book. Okay, that is the last of the brand new books. Let me just shuffle the pile of secondhand books towards myself. It's a little tall. We might need to break it down. There we go. That's better. That's better. Okie dokes. Yes? Good. Alright, let's talk about the secondhand books now. Okay, the first one is the only non-fiction that I've picked up in this whole shebang, and that is this one called Period Queen by Lucy Peach. Life hack your cycle and own your power all month long. This book was on my wish list, and so again I must have heard somebody recommending this one. Yeah, and so I picked it up because I found it secondhand. Very exciting. So it says on the back, "Hey girl, meet your period powers." Okay. Just like the seasons, you have 4 hormonal phases that keep coming around every month, each with its own special power. Once you learn about them, you'll come to love and appreciate how your body tells you when to dream, do, give, and take. By harnessing the power of your menstrual cycle, you can learn the greatest life hack of them all. So, given that I'm an old lady now, I don't know how helpful this is going to be, but I think it will have some things that I don't know because, you know, I'm an old lady. We didn't learn things the same way kids learn them now. So, back in my day. So yeah. Anyway, I'm hoping that will be an insightful book. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I have a couple of classics to show you. This one I'm quite excited about because it's just this little thing. It cost me $3. It's a copy of The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn. And I'm just in love with the size of it. But also, when I opened it up, I was like, the font in this is pretty good. And like, because you would expect for a book that's so tiny that it's going to be really hard to read. But this is quite okay for me. So, yeah, I'm just excited to have it. Tiny little copy of Huckleberry Finn. I love it. Very exciting. This is a classic I had not heard of. It's called Scoop by Evelyn Waugh. When I mentioned it to my husband, he did know about this book. I think he said he had either read it or knew about it anyway. Lord Copper, newspaper magnate and proprietor of the Daily Beast, has always prided himself on his intuitive flair for spotting ace reporters. Acting on a dinner party tip from Mrs. Algernon Stitch, he feels convinced that he has hit on just the chap to cover a promising little war in the African Republic of Ishmaelia. One of Waugh's most exuberant comedies, Scoop is a brilliantly irreverent satire of Fleet Street and its hectic pursuit of hot news. So, anyway, sounded interesting. It was a little orange penguin in good condition, so I decided to pick it up even though I didn't know anything about it. The other classics, I've got 2 more classics. This one is 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. This one is a lot of people's favourite classic. I've heard lots of really good things about this one. Yeah, so I'm excited to have a copy of it myself. And the other classic that I picked up is Eva Luna by Isabel Allende. I have read one of Isabel Allende's books, and I own a couple of other ones of them, but I've heard really good things about this one specifically. So yeah, I'm excited to have that classic in my collection. I tend not to talk too much about the classics when I don't read the synopsis of them, because I assume that most of us have heard of the classics, but let me know if you would like me to do that. I guess you can just look them up. Anyway, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more books to show you. This one I was so excited to find because this is a 2024 release. It's One Another by Gail Jones. Now, I already own another Gail Jones book that came very highly recommended called Salonica Burning, which I'm looking at on my shelf right next to me. This one is her new book, so I haven't heard any reviews of it at all. But given that the other one was highly recommended, I figured her new book would be also good, and as I said, it was secondhand. I was happy to find it. It says, at Cambridge in the summer of 1992, Australian student Helen is completing her thesis on Joseph Conrad, but she is distracted by a charming and dangerous lover, Justin, and by a ghost manuscript, her antithesis, which she has left on a train. Haunted by this loss and others, by Justin's destructive tendencies, and by details of Conrad's life, Helen is unmoored. And then the drama of the lost manuscript sets in motion a series of events, with possibly fatal consequences. Gail Jones's masterly new novel traverses the borders between art and life, between life and death. I don't know if you can see this on the camera, but she's like giving me shut up vibes. Are you giving me shut up vibes? Yeah. Life and death. In a journey through literary history and emotional landscapes, elegantly written, deftly crafted, One Another covers new territories of grief, memory, and narrative. So, here it is. Excited to have it. This is what I keep seeing in the shops, and it's also a very recent release. I'm going to say 2023. Yeah, a 2023 release. And that is God Forgets About the Poor by Peter Polites? I think it's Polites. I'm pretty sure he's a Greek-Australian. And certainly the Greece is a factor in the synopsis of the book, so let me tell you about it. I will tell you why you should draft my story, because migrant stories are broken. Some parts in a village where we washed our clothing with soot, some parts in big cities working in factories. How we starved for food in Greece and starved for Greece in Australia. You don't know the first thing about me. A son can never see his mother as a woman. You will only see me in relation to you. I have had 1,000 lives before you were even a thought. Hospitalized as a child for an entire year, living as an adult without family in Athens when the colonels took control. Start when I was born. Describe the village and how beautiful it was, on the side of a mountain, but in the middle of a forest. If we walked to a certain point on the edge, we could look over the valley and see rain clouds coming. Sometimes we would see a cat on a roof. We read that as a warning of a storm. When we looked down, we saw the dirt, which was just as rich as the sky. My island, your island, our island. Sometimes I think God forgot about us because we were poor. Sounds amazing. So I keep looking at it in the shops and thinking, oh, I think this sounds really good, but I didn't want to impulse buy a brand new book. And then I found it secondhand. So exciting. Okay, more great fiction that I've picked up. Hot Milk by Deborah Levy, I've heard really good things about. It was apparently shortlisted for the Man Booker Prize in 2016. And who did I see? Someone recently was reading this and had a really good time. If I remember who it is, I'll put it down in on the screen. I'll just pop it here. And then I will link to it down in the comments as well. Sorry, in the description. So, Hot Milk. Sophia and her mother Rose arrive on the Spanish coast seeking help. Rose is the victim of a biological conspiracy. Her legs have stopped working and no one can tell her why. Both women are desperate for the truth, but awaiting them in Almeria are many more questions than answers. Almeria is a place caught between the desert and the deep blue sea. It is a place of shifting mirages and ghostly jellyfish floating in the evening tide. watched over by the famous Dr. Gomez and his glamorous assistant, Nurse Sunshine. Simmering with hope and longing, Sophia has come seeking solutions, but the answers she finds are always to questions she had not thought to ask. Under the unblinking glare of the desert sun, mother and daughter strain at the ragged boundaries of their relationship, testing the bonds of kinship to breaking point. Intoxicating and compulsively readable, Hot Milk unspools a hypnotic tale of female rage and sexuality, of myths and timeless monsters. I am none the wiser as to what is going on in this book, but again, this was a recommended book, so when I found it, I was like, that's fine, pop it in the cart. Secondhand, yes please. Right. The Shut-Ins by Catherine Brabon. Now, I just finished reading for the Stella Prize, Catherine Brabon's more recent book, that I really, really loved, the name of which escapes me right at this moment, but I'll put it on the screen for you and link up in the cards to where I reviewed that book. It had a really beautiful cover. Body Friend. Body Friend is what it's called. So I recently read Body Friend by this same author, and this is a backlist title for her, that I had already heard really good things about and just hadn't gotten around to, but it's called The Shut-Ins, and it says, Mai and Hikaru went to school together in the city of Nagoya until Hikaru disappeared when they were 18. It is not until 10 years later, when Mai runs into Hikaru's mother, Hiromi Sato, that she learns Hikaru has become a how do you say that? Hikikomori. Why can't I decode this word? Oh, my reading skills have failed me. Let me break it down like I would for my students. Hikikomori. Hikikomori. Hikikomori? Maybe. Yikes. Okay. He's become that, which is a recluse unable to leave his bedroom for years. In secret, Hiromi Sato hires Mai as a rental sister to write letters to Hikaru and encourage him to leave his room. Mai has recently married Jay, a devoted salaryman with conservative ideas about the kind of wife Mai will be. The renewed contact with her old school friend Hikaru stirs Mai's feelings of invisibility within her marriage. She is frustrated with her life and knows she will never fulfill Jay's obsession with the perfect wife and mother. What else is there for Mai to do but to disappear herself? Sounds really good. Excited that I now have it. Another one that I found secondhand is North Woods by Daniel Mason. I heard, again, who was it? Somebody was very highly recommending this book, and if I can remember who, I'll put it on the screen and I will link to them down in the description. But North Woods by Daniel Mason. I've heard mixed things about this because I think it's one of those books that you either love or hate. But for people who love it, they really, really love it. 4 centuries, a single house deep in the woods of New England. A young Puritan couple on the run, an English soldier with a fantastic vision, inseparable twin sisters, a lovelorn painter and a lusty beetle, a desperate mother and her haunted son, a ruthless con man and a stalking panther, buried secrets, madness, dreams and hope. All are connected. The dark, raucous, beautiful past is very much alive. Okay, it sounds crazy, but here we are, and I've got it now. So I will get to that at some point. I did at one point borrow that book from the library, and then didn't get around to it. So now I should, because I own my own copy. All right, the last book is this one, Mrs. England by Stacey Halls. Now, I own another Stacey Halls book called The Familiars. On the front cover it says it's from the author of The Foundling, which I don't think I have. But anyway, I have another Stacey Halls book. And so this was an author by. Not that I've read the other book that I own. I just own it. Okay. West Yorkshire, 1904. When newly graduated nurse Ruby May takes a position looking after the children of Charles and Lillian England, a wealthy couple from a powerful dynasty of mill owners, she hopes it will be the fresh start she needs. But as she adapts to life at the isolated Hardcastle house, it becomes clear there's something not quite right about the beautiful, mysterious Mrs. England. Distant and withdrawn, Lillian shows little interest in her children or charming husband, and is far from the angel of the house Ruby was expecting. As the warm, vivacious Charles welcomes Ruby into the family, a series of strange events forces her to question everything she thought she knew. Ostracised by the servants and feeling increasingly uneasy as her sister stops writing with news from home, Ruby must face her demons in order to prevent history from repeating itself. After all, there's no such thing as the perfect family, and she should know. Rightio. So that's Mrs. England by Stacey Halls. Alright, those are the books. That is my haul for the month of May. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope it's been enjoyable for you. Please feel free to follow along with my videos if this has been interesting to you. Once a month I do a book haul, but I also do book reviews, a wrap up. I sometimes vlog my reading and various other bits and bobs, occasionally tags. There will be a tag coming up soon. But yeah, so if you're keen to follow along, please subscribe and then hit the little bell if you want to be notified when I upload a new video. Otherwise, if you'd like to like this video, give it a thumbs up, please do. Alright, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye!